Live from KSAT 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
New on the Nightbeat, 2 people were dead and some are injured after a high-speed crash that took place this afternoon. San Antonio police say the crash happened around 4:30 today along Fisher Road, just east of I-35. They had a man in a Ford Mustang was driving at a high speed when he lost control and crashed into a sedan. The drivers of both vehicles were killed at the scene, and one passenger from each car was rushed to the hospital with serious injuries. As this investigation continues, we will keep you posted. Also new tonight, a man is dead after being hit by a motorcycle while crossing the street. SAPD tell us the crash happened around 8:30 tonight along South Presa Street, just off of I-37 on the south side. Officers said a man on a motorcycle was headed down the road when another man started walking across the street. The motorcyclist tried to swerve out of the way, but ended up hitting him. The motorcyclist remained on scene to help. However, the pedestrian was declared dead at the scene. Right now, the pedestrian has not been identified. And this afternoon, police say they arrested a man who shot someone for trying to steal a tip jar. This happened just before midnight last night on West Hildebrand Avenue between I-10 and Blanco Road. Officers tell us a 29-year-old man attempted to steal a tip jar from a business, but left before police arrived. An hour after police took a report from that business, an employee spotted the suspected thief and shot him in the chest. The man was taken to the hospital. No word on how he's doing tonight. The employee was arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. 2 parents are in custody after a 2-year-old child was found wandering alone in South Bexar County. BCSO tells us deputies went out to the area of Eutrophic Circle, a neighborhood off of I-37. That's where they found the 2-year-old girl running near a main road with a dirty diaper. Deputies explained they followed the girl to a home with, quote, horrific living conditions. They contacted the child's parents, Alexandra Pruitt and Benito Lopez, and arrested them at their home for child endangerment. The child was taken to the hospital as a precaution, and Child Protective Services has been contacted. Giving Back was the name of the game today in New Braunfels. A bar and grill hosted live music, a silent auction, and a shrimp boil to support families impacted by the Hill Country floods. As the night team's Ari Oates tells us, this fundraiser was focused on families in Leander and Sandy Creek.
This auction might be the first one, bringing people to tears.
Now you're going to make me cry.
Don't worry, they're tears of joy. That's because all of these people showed up to support families impacted by the Hill Country floods, specifically in Leander and Sandy Creek.
You see all these just amazing people all around us that have come out here today to support people they don't even know.
Robert and Jamie operate the Buck Up Relief Mission, providing donations to people after disasters. They got together with the owners of the Hideaway Bar and Grill in New Braunfels, and that's where this fundraiser is. They tell me the money raised from this auction will go directly to families like the Shoemakers.
I've lived there for 47 years. We've never had the water even get close to the house.
It was the most terrifying thing I've ever woken up to.
Charlotte and Kalina live in Leander and lost everything inside their home during the floods.
14 inches inside the house. It's like, whoa.
We lost our kitchen, our bathroom, our laundry room, our clothes, our food.
Now, they're 2 recipients of this auction.
The financial help is tremendous.
For the people donating, it's about the community.
A few months ago, my niece's house burned down, and the outpouring from the neighborhood and the community puts you back a little bit. So when other people have struggles, you step up. It's a way to pay back.
It means everything to be able to bring people hope. Those people are still there, and they're still hurting, and they still need help.
The Hideaway has raised about 25% of their fundraising goal already online.
I could never feel more blessed than I do right now.
Zaria Oates, KSAT 12 News.
Zaria, thank you. And happening tomorrow, the Together for Texas concert. It'll be at the Tobin Center, and all proceeds go to local flood relief efforts. Tickets start at just $35. And if you can't go, you can catch the concert live on KSAT 12 and the free KSAT Plus app. And because of that benefit concert, some of the ABC programs that normally air on Monday will be moved to a different time. So Bachelor in Paradise will air at 1:35 Tuesday, and Are You My First will air at 1:35 on Wednesday. Now backtracking just a little bit there, Shelby. I was jealous of Zari's assignment. You know, live music, auction, a little gambling, and then also, of course, the shrimp boil. But she did mention, although it was all for a good cause, it was extremely hot out there today.
Yeah, and I noticed that a lot of people, when she was talking about it, were inside, and that's because today was a warm day, not only for us in San Antonio, but for most of us across South Central Texas. Take a look at the peak temperatures we got to today. San Antonio did get to 100. Carrizo Springs got to 105. Uvalde 102, similar to Del Rio. Austin even got to 100, which makes it the 15th day this year so far where we've gotten to 100 degrees. Now, right now, still at about 10 o'clock, we're still seeing our temperatures a little on the warmer side, still sitting in the 90s, 91 degrees in San Antonio, currently 96 in Carrizo Springs. Still feels like 100 degrees over there, and we're continuing to sit under that heat high. And that's going to be the weather maker tomorrow, giving us more temperatures on the warmer side. I'll talk about what that heat high is going to do after, coming up in just a bit.
Shelby, thank you. We see it all too often. Lost dog flyers in person and also on social media. We also hear a lot about artificial intelligence. Well, now that technology is helping reunite owners with their missing dogs. KSAT's Madeline Lambert spoke with a woman who was able to bring her dog home after it was missing for more than a month, all thanks to AI.
Just ran, she took off running, and she got out of the gate and she was lost.
Juliet Gonzalez lost her elderly dog, Sandy, during the major rainfall San Antonio got on June 12th.
And we've been driving around the neighborhood, but we didn't find her. So it was very scary.
Sandy is partially blind and hard of hearing, which made Juliet worry even more during the several weeks she was missing.
I was hoping that somebody, since we weren't seeing her in the neighborhood or anything or at the shelters, I was hoping somebody took her in and was just caring for her.
It wasn't until Juliet heard about a free program called Love Lost. It's partnered with Petco to find or report missing pets.
If the pet is ever lost, or if the pet is lost, right, and they're uploading that information, the database actually uses, the technology to then search.
Rene Moreno is the chief of staff at Petco Love Lost. He says more than 100,000 pets have been reunited using their AI-powered tools.
In the case you're looking for your missing pet, or if you're trying to help someone find their pet, you can go to petcolove.org online. It's free, and that's where you can go to submit all your information.
So that's what Juliet did. She said she checked Love Lost daily for 2 weeks, never losing hope that she'd find her dog.
Luckily, we were off that day, and first thing I did is I looked on the site, and her picture was the first one that popped up. And I was like, that's her, that's her.
And just by uploading some pictures, the tool uses AI to find a match to ultimately reunite pets with their owners.
Especially like with fires or floods where there's the pet might have gone through some damage or trauma, burns or whatever, it's still even making some matches too.
Juliet's story offers a glimpse of hope to others who may still be looking for their lost pets. Madeline Lambert, KSAT 12 News.
That's awesome. Still ahead, want to get to know members of City Council a little better? Well, our Ernie Zuniga is helping us do just that. His chat with District 10's Councilman Mark White. And President Trump preparing to meet leaders from Europe following his meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. A look at the pivotal talks happening tomorrow. Next. Just days after sitting down with Russian President Vladimir Putin, President Trump will welcome Ukrainian President Zelensky and other European leaders to the White House tomorrow. During that high-stakes summit with Trump, Putin made demands for territory that Ukraine is not likely to agree to. Here's ABC's Alex Verche with details from the White House.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is set to meet with President Trump Monday in the Oval Office.
In order for us to get a peace agreement, Ukraine has to be a part of it. They have to be included. They have to be involved. That's why the president called them on the phone immediately after we got on the airplane. Within an hour, he talked to them for long periods of time. That's why President Zelensky will be traveling to Washington tomorrow, along with several European leaders as well, to continue to work on this.
His visit coming just days after that summit between Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin. Ahead of that meeting, President Trump had vowed to push Putin for an immediate ceasefire and for a trilateral meeting with Zelensky, warning of severe economic consequences if the Russian leader did not cooperate. The Trump administration calling for a so-called peace agreement, and it says it's not planning any sanctions as of now. Russia already occupies 1/5 of Ukraine's territory. Sources tell ABC News that during the summit, Putin demanded Ukraine give up the entire Donetsk region in the Donbass in exchange for halting offenses elsewhere and further attacks.
Russia right now is trying to achieve diplomatically what they cannot achieve militarily. They are not able to take the rest of the Donbass and haven't been able to do so in the last 3+ years.
In 1995, the U.S., Russia, and the U.K. pledged to respect Ukraine's independence, sovereignty, and existing borders and offered security assurances. That pledge was broken in 2014 when Russia occupied Crimea and other parts of the east, and it was broken again when the war began 3.5 years ago.
Russia is still unsuccessful in Donetsk region. Putin has been unable to take it for 12 years. And the constitution of Ukraine makes it impossible to give up territory or trade land. So far, Russia gives no sign that trilateral will happen.
Zelensky says if Russia refuses, U.S. sanctions must follow. The administration believes that if they were to place sanctions, conversations would halt. Alex Perche, ABC News, Washington.
And taking a look over at weather, I hope people enjoyed Sunday Funday, although it was a very hot Sunday today. But rain chances are going to be coming in throughout the entire rest of the week.
Yeah, and I mean, the rain chances allow our temperatures to be a little on the cooler side. And I know when I went to go on my dinner break, my car said 109. So I am definitely excited for the rain because we're still in that drought, but also to get a break from that heat high. That's going to be pushing off starting tomorrow evening. But as that does, we're going to be left with the rain chances. Now, starting off tomorrow morning, you're waking up with temperatures in those 70s, waking up about that mid to upper 70s, 77 by around 7 a.m. But by lunchtime, we are already warming up to near 90 degrees. We're already going to be feeling even warmer. But that cloud coverage is going to start to increase. And as the cloud coverage increases, the temperatures increase, the heat indices increase as well, but so do the rain chances. So that heat high that I just showed you, that's going to finally push out of our neck of the woods, and the rain chances are still going to be at about a 20% chance tomorrow. But then later, as we go throughout the rest of the week, the rain chances continue to ramp up. Specifically Wednesday through Friday is when we're tracking the most and the greater chance of more widespread showers and more rainfall for most of us. So like I mentioned, that heat high today, it's still just sitting in areas of Arkansas and Missouri, but it's going to move over Texas tomorrow. And as it moves, that's going to continue to have that wrap around that north and easterly wind. But as it does, we're going to see normal daytime heating showers and storms, but also we're going to see the chance for the sea breeze showers and that just wraparound moisture that's still just in the atmosphere from the last few days to give us a chance of some showers tomorrow afternoon into the evening hours. Similar to what we've seen the last few times, is starting in the afternoon, evening till about sunset is when we're going to see the chance of the showers. Similar situation on Tuesday, waking up, still seeing that humidity, more showers in the afternoon into the evening. But on Tuesday into Wednesday, it's going to be a little different. Wednesday morning, we're anticipating a few more showers to really start to linger as we go throughout the rest of the day on Wednesday. Thursday is going to be another day where we're expecting more widespread showers throughout the day, and even into Friday morning, another situation where we're seeing the widespread showers starting in the morning, having small breaks, and continuing throughout the rest of the afternoon. And it is still a decent ways away as we get into Friday and Saturday. So we'll continue to keep you posted over the next few days so you get a better idea of the time and track of these showers and storms, especially as school is now in session and you need to know what you need to know for the kiddos leaving school, if they need the sweaters, the rain jackets, or even just the t-shirts because it's going to be so hot. Now, over the next 7 days, for how much rain we're anticipating, expect about ½ an inch for some folks, but then isolated areas can see even more of the rainfall accumulation. Now, just to the east of us, Houston, they are closer to the coastline, so they're expecting more showers and storms. But take a look at areas of North and South Carolina and even getting into areas of Georgia. That's where the outer bands, the very far outer bands, and that extra moisture from Hurricane Erin will continue to push through. Erin is not expected to make landfall in the United States, but they can still see the rip currents and the waves and even maybe a little bit of that extra moisture continue to impact them. So that's why they're going to see a little bit more showers. But for us, it's going to be a little bit of a dreary, little bit of a rainy week for most of us. But the good news is tomorrow is the only day we are anticipating triple-digit heat, and then the rain chances, like I mentioned, as those are starting to increase, the temperatures continue to decrease. 93 expected on Friday, guys.
Rain chances across the board, something to keep an eye on throughout the entire week.
Yes.
Awesome stuff. Thanks for that, Shelby. Now, I'm not much for fairy tales, but some would say the Baltimore Orioles taking out the Astros in the fashion they did was a fairy tale of sorts, thanks to a fairy tale creature, a New Braunfels unicorn.
Yes, a New Braunfels unicorn, Jordan Westburg. Well put. Yeah, it wasn't a great day for the Astros, but it was for Jordan Westburg, a career day, in fact. We'll show you the highlights coming up. And San Antonio's own Alex Hernandez pulled off a stunning first-round upset last night. That and much more after the break.
Really a dream come true. I was glad to be out there with my teammates, glad to see some live action, and I'm very excited to watch the film.
How prized rookie Tyler Booker fared in his Cowboys debut yesterday in big board sports. But first, San Antonio's own Alexander Hernandez delivered a stunning upset on the UFC 319 prelims in Chi-Town last night. The Reagan High School and UTSA alum landed a devastating sharp right hand on Chase Hooper in the final seconds of round one. The strike dropped Hooper, and Hernandez's follow-up ground and pound forced a TKO stoppage at 4:58. Hernandez ends Hooper's 5-fight win streak with his third straight victory, upping his overall MMA record to 17-8-0.
Camping with KSAT, powered by Thomas J. Henry.
The Cowboys' 12th overall pick, Tyler Booker, replacing retired legend Zach Martin at right guard, looked very promising in his NFL preseason debut yesterday. Look closely at the left side of your screen right here. Booker with great run blocking for Miles Sanders. Dallas's offense was largely disappointing in a 31-13 loss to the Ravens, managing only 51 rushing yards and 6 points. But Booker was a bright spot, and it'll be exciting to see him alongside the rest of the starting O-line come time for the regular season. Here's what the former Alabama standout had to say after his debut.
Every practice, every meeting, every walkthrough, I'm feeling like I'm more prepared for that day. So just looking forward to getting better. Today was big for me in a couple ways, like you said, like my first real NFL action, but also figuring out my routine, like just the simple fact that we get here at a certain time that's different than to what I got to when I was at Alabama. So really just finding my routine pregame, and I think I did a good job of finding that today, and I'm going to continue to roll that over to next weekend, the rest of the game.
And time will tell how many live reps Booker may see in week 3. The Cowboys have a lot to work on ahead of their third and final preseason game on Friday against the Falcons.
Game 3 this week coming up will still be about us taking another step as a team. This week we'll have the opportunity to go up and practice against the Lions at their place, and we'll get to play them next Saturday. So again, just looking to see, what that game will be. We'll see how the week goes to see like who's playing in that game. Are we utilizing the starters in that game or not? I'll just go back through, watch the film today, see where we are, see who needs more reps, and then we'll let the guys go compete one more time.
That's how Texans head coach D'Amico Ryans is approaching his team's final primer before opening the regular season against the Rams. In the handful of live reps the starters played, Ryans was pleased with how Houston performed on both sides of the football en route to a 20-3 win against the Panthers yesterday. Next up, a noon kickoff against Dan Campbell's Detroit Lions on Saturday. Well, today, the Texans front office dealt receiver John Mechie III to the Eagles for veteran tight end Harrison Bryant in wake of Brevin Jordan's season-ending injury. Mechie's early NFL days were spent fighting leukemia. Luckily, he recovered and had 24 receptions for 254 yards and a touchdown last season. Now, Bryant comes to Houston fresh off a 9-catch, 86-yard campaign in Vegas.
Got a cutter on 3-1, driven to deep right center field and gone! Into the visiting bullpen, which which is about to be activated because Jordan Westberg has just knocked Sean Dubin out of this game and blown the doors off the fifth.
New Braunfels High School alum Jordan Westberg showed no mercy in his homecoming. He had a career-high 5 RBI to lead the Orioles past the Astros 12-0. The Rangers today taking down Toronto 10-4 in that series finale. And in Texas League action, the Missions earned an 8-1 dub against the Tulsa Drillers. Coming up later in the show, we meet the food artist behind the Spurs schedule release video. We're talking SCFC and our play of the week you do not want to miss.
Looking forward to, Mary. I know you're doing your job, but you know it hurts me when you throw up that score of the Astros getting taken outside and, don't want to mention it on air what happened after that. 12-0 is ugly.
But at least it was against Jordan Westberg.
That's right. The hometown kid had a great debut out there. Happy for him.
Yes.
Thanks for that, Mary. All right, still ahead, the city of San Antonio is inviting you to give your 2 cents on the city's proposed budget for next year. How and when you can have your voice heard by city leaders. And KSAT is helping you learn more about your city council members. Our Ernie Zuniga's chat with District 10 Councilman Mark White coming up. Tonight, we're connecting with the council. KSAT 12's Ernie Zuniga is going out to each of the 10 city council districts to talk with council members representing all sides of town. First up, Councilmember Mark White from District 10. He's gearing up for the annual city budget talks while discussions are being held publicly and privately regarding the billion-dollar vision to revitalize downtown, known as Project Marvel.
What can you tell us in terms of, if you could kind of pull the curtain back, what's happening? There are some dates coming up in late August, obviously November, that would be important as it pertains to the future of Project Marvel and where you stand on all of that.
Yeah, so let's be real clear. Project Marvel as a whole, there's a lot that goes on there, but what we're really focused on right now is the proposed new Spurs Arena downtown. And it's really important for your viewers to have a clear understanding of what's going on here. The county has called an election for November. That election is going to decide the fate of this new arena, right? It's a done deal. The voters will go to the polls in November to decide this issue. City Council doesn't get to decide whether we have a new arena or not. It's the voters, and that's how it should be.
Right.
All we're doing right now as a City Council is we are trying to finalize the term sheet, because it's my position that the voters deserve to know the details, the terms of the deal before they go to the polls in November. So we're working hard this week, and I hope that there's going to be a vote before the end of the month where we can approve a term sheet, so then the citizens will have about 70, 80 days to review it and decide if they want this new arena or not, and then they can make that decision in November.
So just this week, the mayor again kind of doubled down, if you will, or called again for that strategic pause, which I know has been polarizing and divisive in some cases in terms of where you fall on that. But at the end of the day, is it just because of the numbers? There's a discrepancy on the numbers? Is that what this is all about?
Yeah, it seems like the mayor doesn't like the economic impact analysis report that the city has already received. She wants us to go and get another one. And listen, I'm all for making sure that the numbers are accurate. I just believe what we've been given thus far is sufficient. It's good. I've gone through that analysis. The majority of my colleagues have gone through that analysis and agree that we've been given what we need. City staff, who has very, very smart people on the financial level, has looked at it and says this is a project that makes sense. We've got to keep our San Antonio Spurs right here in San Antonio where they belong, and so we're comfortable that we have enough information to move forward on this term sheet. Again, so that the citizens can know the deal when they go to make their decision in November.
So again, it's several moving parts happening here, but when there's a difference of opinion, or perhaps just not being on the same page with the mayor, or in disagreement, if you will, how do you get past that?
Yeah, great question. So in San Antonio, we have what's called a council manager form of government. So there is no chief executive. There's nobody that gets to put down an executive order like we have in Washington, D.C. Here, it takes 6 council people to agree on something for anything to happen. So what should be taking place is conversations among council members, conversations between council members and our city manager and city staff, and hopefully working together to find a solution, again, that can work for everybody. But again, if there's a disagreement, like there may be here, we're going to get up on that dais, we're going to vote, and it takes 6 people to do anything.
So, I mean, I am reminded the mayor's vote is just as powerful and strong as your vote.
That's it. The mayor's vote is just as powerful as the most junior person on council or the most senior person on council.
Fair enough.
There's 11 people. We all get 1 vote.
Any concern, is there any scenario as we stand here today that Project Marvel would fall apart and not happen? Do you see any scenario where that could play out?
I don't think it's going to happen, but it's certainly very, very possible. And again, the beauty of this is that the citizens are going to get to decide. This is going to be democracy in its purest form, right? City council does not make the decision. We, in my opinion, our job, get the information to the citizens. The citizens are going to go to the polls in November. They are going to have the final word, and that's how it should be.
And you can catch more of this conversation, plus a lot more about Project Marvel and other city council projects over on KSAT.com. And taking a look at live cam, it's mid-August. We know it's hot and it's going to be hot, but we're also tracking rain on the radar.
Yes, JP, and still at 10:35 tonight, it's still sitting 91 degrees. Now, that just shows you that it was a warm day for us in San Antonio. Now, the good news is if you don't like the heat, we're seeing a small cool down later on in the week, but with that cool down, when we get to 93 degrees on Friday, that's when we're also tracking some rain chances. And sadly, it's going to stay muggy and humid throughout most of the week because of those rain chances. Now, although there is still a decent ways away, so we can really narrow down the time and track, what we're watching is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the greater chance of more widespread showers for Wednesday and Thursday for that slight risk for the heavy downpours to produce some very, very isolated localized flooding, but it's still a ways away, so we'll keep you posted. But the tropics are warming up and becoming active. I'll talk about what's going on over there coming up in just a bit.
Coming up later in sports, meet the food artist behind the San Antonio Spurs 2025-26 schedule release video. She's a mom turned food artist. You're not going to want to miss it. And the city is trying to hash out next year's budget, and they want your opinion on what stays and what gets cut when you can speak to city leaders. Next. Looking ahead to tomorrow, the city of San Antonio is inviting residents to join a series of budget town hall meetings to learn about the fiscal year 2026 proposed budget. City Manager Eric Walsh and staff from key departments will share highlights and answer questions from the community. The proposed budget was presented back on August 14th and covers the city's finances from October 1st through September 30th of next year. The 2 meetings will be held tomorrow, one at the Southside Lions Senior Center on Pecan Valley Drive and another at the Northeast Side Senior Center on Thousand Oaks Drive. Both start at 6:30 p.m. And tickets are now on sale for the 2nd annual Texas Eats Food Festival. Last year was a success, and in 2025, we're only doing it even bigger and better. It happens September 20th from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Boeing Techport Center. You'll be able to eat food from 20 top restaurants from across Texas, made by Michelin and James Beard award-winning chefs. Scan that QR code on your screen to buy tickets. Plus, a portion of the proceeds will benefit the Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country. Welcome back. It's 10:42 on this Sunday evening. It's been a great hot Sunday, but we're also tracking things out in the Atlantic, the first named hurricane from the Atlantic hurricane season.
Yep, so we have been watching the Atlantic season over the last little while, and we haven't had any impacts really to anything. We did have Tropical Storm Barry in July, but for us in San Antonio right now, we're just seeing that cloud coverage, but the Atlantic season is starting to become a little more active. Here's a look at all the names that you can be used in 2025. So far, we've used A to E. Aaron is the latest hurricane that was finally declared a hurricane on Friday. The next one will be Fernand, and then the last one is going to be Wendy. Now, with the hurricane season for the Atlantic Basin, it normally has its peak right around late July, early August, August 1st, and it goes through October and maybe even the beginning portions of November. That's normally peak hurricane season with peak activity, statistically, of course, around September 10th. That's just a few short weeks away. But with the Atlantic Basin, normally you see the warmer temperatures in the Gulf specifically, and the warmer temperatures of the ocean water also contribute to a more active pattern and more available moisture for a hurricane to really continue to strengthen. Now, this is Hurricane Erin. It was a tropical storm going into Friday, and Friday is when it was able to become a hurricane. It became a Category 1 hurricane, I want to say Friday morning, and just yesterday alone. Within about 24 hours, it became a Category 5 hurricane. And then yesterday into this morning, it went under this process of the hurricane or the eye wall reinforcement, and basically it redefined its eye wall. Now, earlier today it was about a Category 3 hurricane. Right now it is back up to a Category 4 hurricane as of the 10 p.m. update, still producing about 130 mile per hour winds just to the north of the Dominican. Now, the good news is it's not expected to make direct impact for the United States, but it is still going to have a slight impact as it curves in between the U.S. and Bermuda. You can still get some of the rip currents, and there definitely will be some red flag warnings along the eastern seaboard because you're still going to continue to have some of the impact with the ocean between the U.S. and Bermuda, and even Bermuda is expected to have some minor impacts as well. But the reason it's not making landfall on the U.S. is because of this. There's a weak cold front moving through the eastern seaboard, and it even will have a slight impact for San Antonio with the rain chances. And that's why we're continuing to see really Erin just go back out into the Atlantic, not really having any direct impact. But behind Erin, we're watching another thing. So Hurricane Erin currently is just to the north of the Dominican, like I mentioned. But behind it, the National Hurricane Center put about a 40% chance of this watch for what they're watching. There is no active development currently, but over the next 7 days, there's a 40% chance of development over the Atlantic Basin. Now, it's that cluster of thunderstorms just off the coast of Africa right there. Now, it is still going to be over the next 7 days, but here's the possibilities. I'm showing this so you can get a good idea, but don't take this with this is the exact forecast. Now, as it gets closer to Puerto Rico and the Dominican, there are two possible scenarios, depending on if there are any specific weather systems that can push it to the north or to the south. As it continues to go into areas near the Dominican and even Cuba, there's two possibilities. One of them, it goes straight to Florida. The other is it follows just like what Erin did. It moves along the eastern seaboard in between the U.S. and Bermuda. That's currently what Erin is forecasted to do, so we'll keep you posted. But notice the date. It's supposed to be next Tuesday, the 26th. So it's still a ways away. So we'll keep you posted on the exact track and timing of the whatever could become of this tropical system. But there is still a hurricane impacting areas of the Atlantic Basin. Now, for us, the rain chances we're seeing this week are not associated with any of the tropical systems. This is just that Gulf moisture we're used to seeing here in South Central Texas. Temperature is still going to be on the warmer side, 100 degrees tomorrow. That's when we start to see the first chance of some rain chances. The peak chances of some rain is going to be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, guys, like we've been mentioning. But the good news, the temperatures are going to be a little cooler.
Tracking rain chances, tracking hurricanes currently and possibly in the future. Lots of moving parts. Sounds like a busy time for you guys.
I mean, yes. However, so far we're not expecting any of the hurricanes or any what could be tropical development to make impact for Texas. So for us, this is just going to be normal, everyday summer,
just keeping
August
an eye on it.
thunderstorms.
Keeping an eye on it, monitoring it, keeping the viewers informed. You got the KSAT Weather Authority app to do that as well. Help viewers out. Thanks for that, Shelby. Now, this is a story I've been looking forward to since 5:30 because you showed us a sneak peek, and I was just amazed at this person's creativity. I don't want to steal the spotlight, so I'm going to let you take it from here, but go ahead.
Yeah, if you guys saw the Spurs schedule release video, you know like the NFL does when they release their schedules. Well, the Spurs did one of their own for the NBA release, and it looked yummy. We talk with the creator coming up, and SAFC's woes continue at home. Also, you don't want to miss our play of the week after the break. The Spurs 2025-26 NBA schedule reimagined into food. You have the Lakers, the Boston Celtics as food, the little leprechaun, the Milwaukee Bucks. You have the Mavs coming up. I mean, all of this is really cool. Who is behind this incredible food art? Let's meet Lale Momedi, a viral Australian food artist who typically does Disney food art, but recently took her first crack at NBA logos for the Spurs schedule release.
Some of them were really quick. There was like the 76ers, is that what they're called? Yay. That was really quick. They would range from 5 minutes all the way through. I think the Boston Celtics one took about 30 minutes. I think for me, if I see an image, I automatically see it in food as food. So if I watch a movie, a cartoon or something like that, every character comes to me as food. So when I see a logo, I automatically, with the colors, I can see what foods to use. I have no idea about basketball. Not a sporty person, but they contacted me via my email and asked if I would be interested in working with them. And I told my son, he's like, Mum, you have to do this. Like, you don't understand. You would be the coolest mum if you did it. So I said yes, and that was it. And so I had to make 30 of the NBA logos.
We'll hear more from Lale coming up on KSAT Sports Now this week. All right, San Antonio FC lost its 5th home match of the season last night against Lexington SC. An early mistake was the difference. The lone goal of the match came in the 9th minute when a long throw-in from Lexington's Kendall Burks, a familiar name to SAFC, forced an own goal by SAFC's Nicky Hernandez. Despite SAFC holding possession 62% of the match and outshooting Lexington 11-9, the club couldn't create clear chances, thus resulting in their 4th shutout of the season.
It's unacceptable. We have guys with a lot of experience out there to manage that part there. So we need to do better.
Obviously it's not a good feeling losing at home, especially this part of the season. Don't matter who's on the field and stuff on the pitch. You want to give 110% and show who SAFC is, and especially at home, this is a fortress. I think it's one of the best places in the league to play. Can't stress enough how winning at home, especially when the business end of the season is rolling around, how important it is to kind of get the momentum going at home.
Well, the club will try to bounce back Wednesday in a USL Cup match against Hartford Athletic. Also last night at halftime, SAFC announced the re-signing of Santiago Patino to a multi-year deal. Patino is the club's all-time leading scorer. All right, it's time now to hit the road with our Ancira Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Play of the Week.
Can you believe what you just saw?
I can't believe it. I mean, I should believe it at this point with Scotty Scheffler. A miraculous chip-in birdie on hole 17 to take a 2-shot lead and eventually win the BMW Championship. Robert McIntyre was stunned. Everyone was stunned, but come on, it's Scotty Scheffler. No one does it like him. The Dallas native takes our Ancira Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Play of the Week. Scotty, my goodness.
From distance. The most impressive part about this, right, about golf is that it's not just the distance of the shot, but these pros are studying the green, the curves of the course, and they know where to hit it and where it lines up to continue down that path. And obviously, he's mastered it. That's why he's a Masters winner. He nailed it.
Incredible. Yeah, 18th PGA Tour victory for Scotty on that one.
And then backing up a little bit, SAFC, it's been the story of the summer. Their struggles to try and capitalize and finish when they do get opportunities has been...
Yeah, they've been very up and down, unfortunately, but most recently down. So they need to get back.
Maybe Scotty can show them how to finish.
Yeah, take notes after Scotty.
Awesome stuff. Thanks for that, Mary. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Would you return an overdue library book even if it was 82 years late? The San Antonio Library says that happened back in June. Marketing manager Scott Williams tells us a parenting self-help book was mailed back to the library from Oregon with a note. The book, titled Your Child, His Family and Friends, was believed to be accidentally packed by the sender's grandma when she was being transferred to the U.S. Embassy in Mexico City.
The really interesting things about this book is that it gives you a little window into what being a patron of the library was like in the 1940s.
And if you're wondering about the late fees, the library no longer charges as of 2021. When asked for an estimate, Williams says at a certain point, they would have been asked to replace the cost of the book. Not bad for nearly a century-year-old late fee there. You can see the book on display at the San Antonio Public Library's central location through the end of August.
Wow.
Something that Shelby would do, obviously. Thanks for joining us. See you tomorrow.